Welcome back. We have with us in the studio the chairman of the National Institution for Human Rights, Engineer Ali Ahmed Al-Derazi, to further discuss the issue. Hello and welcome, Mr. Ali.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here with you.
Mr. Ali, I would like to start with the enlightened vision of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa enabled Bahrain to make many accomplishments in the field of human rights. What can you tell us about that?
Well, that started when His Majesty the King inaugurated the reform entirely in Bahrain, and that's after the national then the national action charter. Everything has been started later on. All the new organization and inaugurating, of course, the democracy, and from there it was a strong foundation for all the changes in legislation, changes in the human right, and to the right of the women's right of children's, for the labor reforms. Everything has been started after His Majesty the King has inaugurated his reform to the country. And one of it, of course, the human right, and this is the most important thing. So this is if I answer your question.
And speaking of all these foundations that established the human rights in Bahrain, how did it contribute to shaping the field of human rights on the local and international levels?
See, everything has started. It was the seed in this ground. The main seed is the democracy, the transparencies, and then all the rights of the international right of the Bahraini citizens has been restricted by the democracy itself. And then after that, all the establishment of the organizations, all the organizations of the human rights, and then after that, the right is not only how you give the right, but how you understand it, how you practice it. And this is exactly what happened. All that process started, and then the mechanism being established, and then all the legislation afterward start being built it out from the foundation of the reforms.
Yes, Bahrain had made numerous achievements in human rights on the local, regional and international levels, thanks to the wise vision of His Majesty King Hamad bin Isa Al Khalifa. And speaking of which, Bahrain, which is one of the first countries to ratify the Arab Charter for Human Rights in 2006, submitted its first periodic national report to the Charter Committee in 2019, and has recently discussed the second periodic report on human rights at the Arab Charter Committee. What can you tell us about the Kingdom's role and efforts in this regard?
What you are saying is basically enlightening the position of Bahrain now locally and internationally, on international level. When I mean locally, that's if you compare it with the other GCC countries, and then to Arabic countries, and then on the international level countries. Bahrain has established a good mechanism and good tools. We have now legislation and organizations. We have different organizations of Bahrain in Bahrain protecting the human rights, and therefore all those tools that been established afterwards, like the National Institute for Human Rights, the Special Investigation Unit, and the ombudsman of the Ministry of Interior. All of those tools, they are working together in a full integration to protect the human rights. And therefore, after having all those legislations and all those organizations start to work properly, then Bahrain have really a very strong strength to go and show its own experience. And what the achievement being made on the local level or international level is, I feel this is we are only in the starting, and we have a lot still to show to the entire world.
And it's clear that Bahrain's achievements are evidence throughout the the world, locally and internationally, and earn the world recognition actually in the field of human rights. Mr. Ali, we will continue the interview right after this. Welcome back to our discussion. Mr. Ali, the chairman and members of the Arab Charter for Human Rights Committee commended the progress of Bahrain in human rights, lauding the timely report submission, clean responses, and constructive dialogue. How do you value such recognition?
Well, they have come to Bahrain before they put their report. They come to Bahrain, and I want to say something about Bahrain, that we have a very good experience, and it's a unique experience. It is, when you are talking, now for instance, if you are talking about the democracy, you cannot have democracy equal everywhere in the world, same. Every country will have their own democracy, and they will have their own school. Now, in Bahrain, we have our own school of the human rights protection. And I would like also to say something, that we don't show this, we don't expose it to the others. Now, usually when people talk about Bahrain, Bahrain is too small country, but it is big with with our achievement. And we do have, we should be proud of our experience that we are having in Bahrain. Now, as I said before, when we are talking about 3 or 4 different tools of protection for the human right, I didn't mention also the LMRA and the human trafficking protection. So if we talk only about our system of protection, I will call it. Now, when anybody come and the first question they ask, why you have the Special Investigation Unit, you have the embussments of the Ministry of Interior, and you have the National Institute for Human Rights. Is there any clash between their achievement and their goals and their legislation establishments? It's not. There are no clashment, and the tools, all those tools, if I call them tools, are working in different corners towards full protection of human rights. Now, if I go back to your question, when the delegation, they came to Bahrain and they have seen our experience, they were impressed. And therefore, they expressed their impressment in their report. And they have said that to us when they meet us, and they say that you have a unique experience, but you don't expose it well outside. We need to expose it more. We need to talk more about our experience, because it's a unique experience. Like, I will tell you one thing, for instance. We have the alternative sentences. Sorry, I go a little bit out from the question, okay, but I'm talking about experience that we are having. We have the alternative sentences, and it's a unique what we have in Bahrain. I will tell you an example. 2 years back, we had international conference on this topic, and we had around 35 from different countries, internationally, from Arab countries, and when I say internationally, from Europe, from America, from Latin America even, and from Africa. And everyone talked about some experts we brought, and they were talking about alternative sentences. But the one that we are having in Bahrain was totally different. And I will tell you one thing, after the experience, we received different calls from their countries asking about our legislation, our law for the alternative sentences to be sent to them in English version. So basically, they want to learn from it. And I was very impressed, you know, when that finished, I was very proud of our country, that we have such experience, but we don't talk about it, you know. Similar things to the whole integration system for the protection of a human right.
And speaking about the alternative sentencing, which is a pioneering initiative taken by the Kingdom of Bahrain, can you tell me how did it affect On a global level, like how did it make an achievement globally?
Well, first of all, it has to achieve locally. What is the achievement being made locally? It gives, the alternative sentences, it's a unique experience. The force of the prisoners, instead of having it close in four walls, let's say, you should utilize it towards the society, to help the society, to put back to their family. Something is important. Do you need to just punish the prisoner, or you need that prisoner to rectify his actions, to learn from the mistake that he made? This is the main idea of alternative
Absolutely.
sentences. He learn, and you prepare him back to go to society, and society should accept him. And therefore, we had, as I said, one more step we have done. Now, I will talk about it later on, that it's a trend now, for instance, in the whole world. They call it business and human right. Now, this is the biggest trend in the world. We have done it. The business is, and human right is integrating the private sector in helping the human right, elevating the human right in the country. And this is one of the things that during the process of the alternative sentences, there was a unique mechanism being established among all the ministries of Bahrain to help, and including the private sector, to help the enemy to go back and to accept him, and to make the private sector taking him back to work. So this is what we have done as part of the alternative sentences, together, of course, with Ministry of Interior and other ministries, Ministry of Works, Tamkeen, and of course the Chamber of Commerce.
And of course, this is one of the most prominent achievements and initiatives adopted by the Kingdom of Bahrain, especially in the field of human rights. And speaking of the achievements of Bahrain in the field of human rights, Bahrain has maintained Tier 1 status for 6 consecutive years in the U.S. State Department's Trafficking in Persons report. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, I spoke about it in the beginning for the achievement of enhancing the labor rights in Bahrain. Bahrain, among the Gulf, the first country, look after rectifying the they call it the sponsor, the relationship between the sponsor and the labor, and establish a new law where after that it gives big it gives big rights to the laborers for movement from work to work, and it gives them the right for complaint, and gives them the right, the whole system become, because they are the weakened. You know, one thing about the human rights is to make a tool for the weak person to protect him, because you don't need to protect the strong person. Strong person, of course, he is protecting himself. The weak point and the weak person in the society, that is the children, the women, the laborers, where you need tools to protect them. And this is what Bahrain has achieved. And this is the main important thing, that Bahrain become Tier 1 for the United States or for any other level of, observing the levels, the labor force rights in Bahrain.
And Bahrain human rights is witnessing development process through the National Human Rights Plan 2022 to 2026, of which 40% has been completed within 2 years. Can you tell us more about that plan?
Yeah, the plan itself is it's a roadmap. Like when I talk about the different protection organizations and how they work together. Now, first you should have a plan. You have to have a roadmap. Maybe you have achieved a lot of things, but to put everything together and how they achieve it in 40% in 2 years, that means they were existing before. It cannot be established and achieved 40% in 2 years only, because 2 years is a very small period. If you talk about just such big achievement, that means it was existed. The only thing, they had the roadmap, they had the plan, and now they are putting the things towards the plan, and they put the reports together. That's all what happened. And I think that achievement, it will take few time, because I think we have made a lot in that field. The only thing, we need to put our reports properly, and we need to present it properly. And this is a good step that Bahrain has made.
And speaking of Bahrain maintaining its tier 1 for 6 consecutive years, how did that reflect on the international level in terms of world recognition of this achievement?
World recognition will come only if you have achieved something proper. And when you achieve it on strong fundamental legislation, and that legislation start work in with a proper mechanism, then the achievement, then the recognition will come. And what I can say, that I'm visiting and I'm receiving a lot of international delegations, and they always ask, they have a lot of questions, and we do have a lot of, we answer all of those questions, but we have more to say, and that's always what I usually do about. I explain to them that we have extra step. You got my point? And this is what when I was talking about the business and the human right. You understand? It's how you integrate having strong business with a proper protection of a human right. And this is where we have achieved big part of it. And I would like to say in this occasion that next week we are having a small conference with the UNDP on this topic, and Bahrain has made it the first in Gulf talking about this topic. We have talked about it 2 years back. We have achieved it with the human trafficking, and we are now start integrating it together with the international experience that we are bringing now. That's why we have done this achievement together with the, as I say, international, that's belong to UN, and then we are bringing somebody from with the international experience to our private sector, to enlighten their vision more on this topic especially.
Yes, and no wonder Bahrain enjoys numerous achievements in the field of human rights, thanks to the wise approach of His Majesty the King, of course, with the follow-up of His Royal Highness the Crown Prince and Prime Minister, and the regional and international outreach activity and effective cooperation with other human rights institutions are pillars of the NIHR's work. Can you tell us more about the collaboration on the Arab level?
Okay. I will talk first about locally.
Yes.
I always start from locally, because once you are strong, everybody then you will be able to show them your strength. But if you are weak, you cannot show anything, or whatever you are going to show will be false shown. In Bahrain, in NIHR, first thing, we have strengthened our relationship with the NGOs locally, especially with the NGOs working in the field of the human rights. And working with the NGOs, it's not a very easy task, because working with the society, working with society entirely, it's not a very easy task. You need to bless everybody, and you need to work hard to make it. It's a strong struggle, I would say. Now, internally, you have to be strong. Locally, I will go back to the joint action with the whole Arabic country need to be enhanced. Now, yes, we have certain alliances, Arab alliances, like the Arab Network or the Arab Observers. There are, which belong to the Arab Parliament. There are certain alliances, but those alliances need to be strengthened more, because the Arabic countries, all the Arabic countries, like what we are having now here in Bahrain, we have to strengthen our help to each other and then exchange the experience between each other. And this is exactly what we need.
So you were speaking about the aspects from the national aspect. Can you tell us more about the international aspect?
Okay. So I spoke about the Arab alliances and the organizations that they need to work more stronger. And there are a lot which is to be done in that field. Now, internationally, NIHR is part of GANHARI. That is the Global Alliances for Human Rights Institutions, and it is belong to the United Nations. It is part of it, and we are working very hard to achieve a grade A in that level. And apart from that, we are participating, of course, in all their activities. And last week only I was in the main conference in Geneva. And Bahrain has made, I will tell you, a good international connection with all the NIHRs, because they are the institutes established based on Paris principles. Something like us, there are 120 organizations among all the world.
And from your point of view, what are the challenges facing preserving human rights in the Arab region, and what are the best ways to overcome them?
I have just now spoke about it. I say that the Arabic countries, they have a lot to do in the field of joint actions work, especially in the international forums. They need to help each other, and all the Arab countries are not the same. Some of them, their legislations level and level of protection, if I call it, if you allowed me to call it, tools and organizations are strong enough to protect the human rights. Some of them, they are way behind. I would say the exchange of experience is it's too much required. It's really essential, and I think we need a lot to do in that part.
And with all these challenges facing the Arab region in the field of human rights, how do you value the constant efforts exerted by the Kingdom of Bahrain to support joint Arab action in the human rights field?
I'll tell you one thing about the human rights. There are human rights and political. They are two different things. You know, political activists and the human rights activists are two different things, but unfortunately there are mix between them. And internationally, this topic always will be used to pressurize any country. Well, the full achievement of human rights, it's nowhere 100% in the world. This topic is a long struggle topic. You understand? And that's why such organization is existing everywhere, whether in Bahrain, in United Kingdom, in France, anywhere, name it. Such organization like NIHR in Bahrain are available everywhere in the world. That means there are always a need for them, and a need to enhance the level of the human rights protections, and to enhance the human right entirely. You understand? So basically now, if I go to that subject, anywhere, every time, some countries, they will use the human right to pressurize the country for political reasons. Therefore, Bahrain has worked always to enhance, as I said before, the Arab world action together into the international forums. When I mean forums, anywhere.
And with all these challenges and the efforts are being exerted to overcome all of these challenges, how do you value the constant efforts exerted by the Kingdom of Bahrain to further consolidate the values of peace, coexistence, and integrated dialogue on the regional and global levels?
Well, Bahrain has taken a strategical decision into the peace, because without having a stability, without having a peace, you will not have development. And with His Majesty the King vision, and always pioneer visions he was having, he took that step. Always the step for peace is also difficult. Similarly to step of war, people think only if you go for peace is an easy step. It's not. It's a brave step. And Bahrain has taken a brave step, brave strategical step, that people will understand it. Maybe I will say 10 years ahead, because the pioneers levels and the high visions will be understand only in a long term. Not everyone will understand it. You understand? And therefore, Bahrain has taken this decision, and Bahrain government and His Majesty the King work very hard to establish it and to put a proper foundation to all at least in our region, to take this step as Bahrain has taken it.
And every year, Bahrain proudly celebrates the democratic achievements, human rights freedoms, and the steady integrated development that have emanated from the National Action Charter. How can this charter inspire other nations?
As I say, it's a brave step that the referendum we had for the National Action Charter that Bahrain has taken. It was inaugurated by His Majesty the King, and it is an achievement. After that, all the reform has started. The new constitution we had, the democracy, the parliament in 2002, and all even the NIHR, what we have now, it is part of it's a result of that step.
And Mr. Ali, all of these achievements that earned the world recognition in the field of human rights for the Kingdom of Bahrain brings me to my last question. What is the importance of sharing the success of Bahrain's democratic process and preserving human rights with other countries?
Well, as I said, we have different schools. Bahrain have unique school for the democracy. Bahrain have a different school also on the protection of the human rights. If you want to understand what I can see, I see from different NIHRs, whether they are on Arab level or international levels, when we explain to them the experience that we are having, they want to learn from it. Now, I want to add one thing. The good thing about Bahrain, that it always learns from its experience. And the good thing about Bahrain, that we always aim to change towards the better. This is what we are aiming.
Mr. Ali, we will return to this discussion right after this. Welcome back, and to continue our discussion with the chairman of the NIHR, Mr. Ali Ahmed Al-Derazi, I have another question for you. Can you tell us how did the countries of the world benefited from the experience of the Kingdom of Bahrain in the field of human rights?
Well, I spoke about that Bahrain have different organizations that they work integrately together towards enhancing and having more protection for the human rights. Such experience does not exist in the other countries, as far as I know, in the Arab countries. We have also inaugurated recently last year the Commissioner of the Children Rights, and this also achievement is the first in the Arabic country and in the Gulf and in the Arabic country. We have learned from others regarding the achievement of the Children Rights Commissioners, and this is a unique and new experience in this region, and of course it will require time to be, as I say, to be developed more and to start the understanding in the society, to understand that role properly, and then it will be able to work along with the mechanism and of course with the law of establishment of the NIHR, allowing us to do such things. So basically this is one, I'm just talking about the experience ourselves. Bahrain is it's a different country. It has unique experience even among the coexistence between different sectors, because it is an island, and we have the people itself are very friendly people, and we have the level of crime very low, and all this make us different. As I said before, we have different school. Every country will have different schools. So basically, things which is achieved in Bahrain might not be able to be achieved in the other country, but good that people take from us. And we have the alternative sentences, which I spoke about it, and that law was established in 2017. And later on, in 2021, it has been modified, and that amendment to the law was done based on ourselves. Like what I said, in Bahrain, we usually review the experience we have done, and that's the good thing. We review, and we have always the aim of upgrading it, and this is a unique. Usually in other countries, maybe because of the scale of the country, it's small, and we have, thanks God, the vision of His Majesty the King, and of course the Prime Minister. They are working together for enhancing having high achievement into the legislation changes and upgrading. And therefore, we had the changes in 2021, and that's only 4 years in amending a law. It's really a very small period. Basically, that it gives the understanding and gives the lighting of the vision that the country is moving forward. So basically in 2011 we had the modification, and afterwards on the same alternative sentences we had the open jail experience, and that made the prisoners or the enemies to be prepared before they go back to the society, preparing them to have the freedom slowly to start testing the freedom back again, and to train them and to give them basically a good tool in their hand so they can work back to the private sector. They will be able to accept them, or maybe they will be working by themselves, opening a new, being entrepreneurs, even that is possible. And we have experience, by the way, for people they benefit from the alternative sentences, and eventually they become new pioneers, like having entrepreneurs, and now they are, mashallah, successful stories they are having. So such thing maybe we have, and people they don't have it otherwise. Maybe, as I said, because of the people, because of the Bahrain citizens, because of the level, and because of the government that we are having and His Majesty the King. All of those elements work together, integrated together, and have the the result that we are having, and alhamdulillah that we are living in it.
And it's obvious that the Kingdom of Bahrain has a remarkable influence on the countries of the world in the field of human rights. And you spoke to us about the world benefiting from the experiences of the kingdom. How did the Kingdom of Bahrain benefited from the world experiences?
Well, we always learn. As I just said now, the children commissioners, this experience itself, we learn it from others. Maybe I don't want to mention the countries, but we have taken different experience, we put them together, and we have asked our friends, countries' friends, that they have helped us a lot to this achievement. And this is one of the achievements we have done with the help of other countries. But apart from that, in NIHR itself, ourselves, we are established based on the Paris principles. And Paris principle is international principles that we have learned from it, but we have our law. Our establishment law is different than the other establishments law, but they are based on the international levels. And we learn from the others, but again, we learn also from one thing important, is our religion, our culture. It's a human right culture itself. If you go back thousands years back, we were having alternative sentences in our culture itself. In Quran, there is alternative sentences. So basically, we do have it from our culture. We should learn our culture properly. We should learn our religion properly, and it is all the the human rights that we are having now internationally. We were having it thousands of years back.
That is wonderful. And Bahrain always makes numerous achievements in the field of human rights, on the not just on the local and the international level as well. And thank you, Mr. Ali. We will get back after this. Welcome back. Mr. Ali, before we conclude our discussion, is there anything you would like to add?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank you for having me here, and I hope that the Arab Summit will be a very successful and unique summit. And thank you again, and thank for the Bahrain TV for having us here.
Thank you so much for joining us. It was a true honor.
Yeah, thank you very much.